Welcome to Keeping Up with Data. Keeping Up with Data is the podcast that keeps data enthusiasts up to speed with what is happening in the data world. We bring in the leading minds from the data industry to talk all things career, news, embarrassing stories, failures and successes.
So something really important for us here at Precision Sourcing is mental health. It's something we've been focused on a lot over the last year or so, and we're lucky enough to have partnered with the Black Dog Institute. And we're going to be doing a lot of events with them this year. A lot of our events, money will be going towards them. And they're out there aiming to create a mentally healthier world for everyone. So if you wish to support the cause, please donate via the link in the bio on this podcast, and you'll be seeing a lot more information about Black Dog over the next year.
Welcome to a very special episode of Keeping Up with Data. Myself, Joel Robinstein.
Myself, Emily Noda.
And our newish colleague,
John. Hi.
So today's episode is extremely special because normally on Keeping Up Data we have data leaders, people from the industry, hearing about their journeys and their stories, but you are quite a unique case, John, because you worked as a data analyst for 10 years and for some reason you decided to become a recruiter.
Yes, as people would say, joining the dark side.
Join the dark side. So today's podcast, we're going to find out why, what in your career led you to making a big switch, because I think there are plenty of other people within the data world who have never considered moving out of it, and even if they did, how do you use the skills that you've learned in something new? Now, Emily, you're leading John, so you're going to be very important to this podcast as well, to tell us the differences between what it's like having someone like John come into the team. And
Horrible. No, I'm joking.
Great start.
Complete opposite,
Really
actually.
good
But anyway.
Cool. All right, we'll take that one offline. But we'll start as we always do, John. If you could just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, why you started in data, where it all began.
Yeah, so just a bit about myself. I think data really happened to me. I didn't really seek it out, so to speak. It's more. So I used to do actuarial studies back in university, Macquarie Uni. Then kind of struggled a little bit to get a job coming out of that. So landed one kind of dead end job at QBE. But I just had to get my feet in somewhere, just so that I can get a transfer into something that I'm actually kind of interested in or passionate about. Got a bit of a lucky break after a year into that dead end job. Got offered a position as an analyst or credit risk analyst in the QBE LMI section of QBE Group, I guess. So was there for about 6 years or so, got promoted to senior and whatnot, then moved over to Experian, I guess more of a client-focused analytics. Would kind of go out a little bit into client meetings and kind of become that pre-sales consultant, so to speak. Was a bit so about that, so kind of moved back into more bureau analytics, so spent a bit of time there, and then kind of COVID happened. Things start to change, mind starts to wander, and suddenly I'm here in the recruitment world.
Some journey, cool. Just poof,
into
recruitment. All right, let's break it down. Let's start at the beginning. So you studied actuarial studies. So why did you do that?
Funny one. It's quite simple, actually. So I was discussing it with a few of my high school friends. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do at uni. My mum was an accountant. She was like a C-level. So I thought maybe I'll go down that path. It's the easiest thing, finance. They were asking me, like, okay, so what do you like? I'm like, okay, well, I like maths and money.
Okay.
So it's just the truth. And then he goes, oh, just check out this degree then, actuarial studies. I'm like, what is that? I've not heard of it at all. So I started doing some research on it, and that's really how I landed into that degree. Honestly, just because I like maths and money.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It's more of a reason than when I did my degree. I just did business because it's business and
right. Yeah. Exactly.
I didn't really know, so I get that.
Yeah.
All right. So you finished university and you struggled to get a job. So when you said you took a job at QBE, that was a job that wasn't to do with data, is what you're saying?
No, it wasn't.
Right.
It was like a claims processing type job.
Fine.
So
Okay. So the theory behind it was need to get my foot in the door somewhere and need money.
Yeah. Oh, definitely need money. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
need to get out of the house more, more than anything. Like my parents were just on my case, just annoying the crap out of me. So
Right.
just need to get out of there.
I
Okay.
can relate.
You were the oldest of
Escape.
5 though, weren't you,
Yeah.
Em? So you had to get out of there ASAP.
Yeah, well, actually, I kind of got forced out. They were like, you have 2 options. You can go to uni and down south, or you can work here. And I was like, well, obviously I'm going to work here because I don't want to be told what to do. And then they were like, crack up, we're going to send you down there, so see you later.
They just got
I
booted
was like,
out.
awesome, crying on the
got
plane.
trolled.
But best thing ever.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Right, so you're at QBE.
Yeah.
How do you... So this is, I think, going to be a real good story for people. Like, so you've swallowed your ego.
Yes.
You've gone, right, I can't get a job in exactly what I think I should be doing within data.
Yeah.
Joined a company. How did you get the transition then?
Literally through luck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
honestly.
It wasn't like you networking.
No.
No, okay.
No,
just luck.
absolutely not.
Okay.
No. But I still think it's quite important to get your foot in the door first. And I think a lot of people get a bit high and mighty about, what kind of job that they should land coming out of uni. Not like you will soon learn that not everything is unicorns and rainbows out in the real world, right? Despite what they tell you at uni. Yeah, I learned that the hard way. But literally the way that I got that risk analyst position was that I just applied for an underwriter role. Actually, I didn't even apply for that role. Yeah. And one of the hiring managers there came across my profile and just thought, just based on the background of actuarial studies, and they needed a junior, more like a fresh grad type thing, and they thought, I'll just bring you in for an interview, and that's how I got it really. So literally, it's kind of pure luck.
Nice.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have happened if I didn't swallow my ego and get into, get my foot in
first
the door.
role.
Yeah, that first role.
And also
Despite how
apply.
crap it is.
Well,
Like-
yeah.
And also apply.
Like applying
Yeah.
for any, I mean, that kind of speaks to people in the market now, right? Like we would recommend them applying, and if it's not the right role, we'll have 5 others that maybe aren't advertised in the same vein.
Exactly.
So
True.
Exactly.
Do you think that's changed at all now compared to when you started 10 years ago? Obviously data's grown a lot since then.
Yeah.
Do you think it's easier to get a role in data out of university, that there's so many more options, whereas there wasn't really those options 10 years ago? Emily, you can chuck in on this as well, maybe.
I think, definitely potentially, because...
Definitely, potentially.
Sorry,
All
yeah.
right.
I'd say definitely. It's a little bit easier now, just because back when... That was such a long time ago, when I finished uni now. But back then, there wasn't really like a data-centric role. There's a lot of like risk analysts, financial analysts, not really data analysts. So you're very... you're competing into with such a larger pool. But... the roles that are out there are so kind of specific and they're just few and far between, so to speak. So let's say, with actuarial studies, I was on a credit average, right? You were told that at uni that was more than good enough. That was better than a HD in accounting, for example, because of how hard the degree was. Absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I cannot emphasize that enough, because those people who get HDs or Ds in accounting and finance would always get the interviews over the people with credit. Like, just don't care what degrees you do normally. They care about your final grades, essentially. Yeah, and once you land to that interview, then it'll be a lot easier. But you don't even get a chance.
Yeah, to be fair, when I started recruiting 12 years ago, up until maybe about 6-7 years ago, transcripts were asked for often.
Big.
It was, and if they didn't have a distinction average,
Yeah.
wouldn't get a look in at some places.
No.
And that's not so much anymore, I wouldn't say.
I'd say it's in my opinion, it's way easier as a grad to get into data now, purely because it's much more well known, and it's like the buzzwords and everything is like not just data and like actuarial and all those teams that you'd expect to know about, but more marketing and sales, and I don't know, just generally people know more about what data is and how it could add value.
Yeah, and also like there are now courses that are specifically related to data, right?
Yeah.
So that helps, obviously. So
Yeah, true.
yeah.
Cool. All right, so at QBE, you've got your analyst role. Things are on the up and up. You're finally where you want to be.
Yeah.
What was it like in that role for you once you finally got there? Was it everything you wanted?
So that's an interesting question. I didn't really know what I wanted, but what I knew was that the role's trajectory was very positive compared to where I was previously. So that's what was exciting for me. Not
Yeah.
so much the role itself, but where you can lead to. So with regards to like the work, I couldn't care less what I did, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so it's about prospects more.
It's
so.
about prospect, yeah, because I didn't have a passion in anything really. Still kind of trying to find that out back then, and even a little bit now as well. So really just wanted some sort of prospects and kind of a way to move forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good advice for young people out there. Just keep moving and see what happens.
Yeah,
If you don't know,
yeah,
don't get too stuck up on, I can only do this one thing, otherwise I'm a failure.
Yeah, and I think it's key that don't always focus on what you want to do. Sometimes you just got to do what you have to do.
Before you can do what you want to do.
Before you can do what you want to do. That's right.
That's a fair comment.
Yeah.
So let's take this first 6 years at QBE of your career and we'll try and tie in a bit of the recruitment stuff here. What was it like working as an analyst? How often were you approached by recruiters? What kind of interactions did you have with them? What did you think of them? Just generally, like, how did that change over those 6 years as data started growing?
Yeah, so I guess working for QBE those 6 years really, really good actually. Just in terms of collaboration and team members and all that stuff. Even the work was pretty good as well, and my manager at the time was fantastic. Both managers, and then with regards to that recruitment side of things, I wasn't approached too many times. Maybe let's say about once every 2 to 3 weeks, roughly.
Yeah, okay.
Which wasn't too bad.
Fair amount.
Yeah, still a fair amount. But I would normally just keep in contact with just the one guy that I go to for like all of my recruitment needs essentially at that time. Yeah, I always thought. Well, firstly, I thought, oh, geez, like what an easy job. Honestly, genuinely, I
I think
really
a lot
did.
of people think that, yeah.
Because it's just because like I bring myself forward. For example, like when I wanted to leave QBE, I would call this recruiter up, this contact of mine, and he would just give me like 3-4 roles or whatever that I would interview, and then boom, then I'd land Experian, for example.
Are they still in recruitment, this person?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Nice.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. We're gonna hire him here maybe one day.
I don't know. He's pretty high up there
Right.
in the recruitment world. Maybe. No.
Maybe.
So I don't know. And also, with some of the referrals that I would give him, like he'd place them in like 2 months or something, or no, less even, like in like a month. Right? I'm like, gee whiz, like must be really easy or something like that. But
we'll get to that bit later. We'll get to that bit.
But look, all of my interactions with recruiters have been quite positive, to be honest. Like I've always recognized that they're just trying to do their jobs, right? And it may not be fully in your best interest sometimes, but that's just where it's also as much your responsibility as it is theirs. So you just got to look after yourself as well.
So let's stick on that point for a little bit longer. From an analyst's point of view, what advice would you give them in order to have good interactions with recruiters?
Oh, easy. Just really just be open and honest with recruiters. Like at the end of the day, it would suck for you not to take up a role that they've offered you, but they would appreciate the honesty a lot more than if you just go behind their back and and just oh, by the way, I've just accepted elsewhere, and then you just F off essentially, right?
You started feeling that pain recently, haven't you? Seen it from the other side.
Absolutely.
It's coming from a dark place.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so, a lot of rage building up right now.
Okay, cool. All right, so open, honest, even if it feels like you can't be, it probably plays in your favour in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So then what happened with the move to Experian? Where did that come? Was it this gentleman that you knew, the recruiter?
Yeah,
okay,
again,
cool.
I was on a paternity leave at that time for about 2 months. I took a long hiatus, maybe 3 months, I think it was. I took a long hiatus from QBE just because I was just sick of everything, essentially. And I was just looking around, and then suddenly this bloke just gave me a call without me initiating this time, and he said, "Oh, look, I remember that this is exactly what you're looking for. Like, you want more client interaction, yada yada yada. I might have something for you. Like, are you currently in the market?" And then that's how I got the Experian role, really.
Nice.
So yeah, I was quite impressed with the fact that after 8 months of no contact with this bloke, he still remembered exactly what I wanted. He pretty much gave me exactly what I wanted. So that's I was really, really impressed by him.
Strong. And so what was the you mentioned they're more client-facing role.
Yeah.
So as an analyst, they're words that you don't hear too much.
No, correct.
I guess. So what was it that drove you towards that?
Because I spent so much time in the back end over the years at QBE, but also with that, there were quite a lot of project work. With that type of work, like I've built some really, really strong relationships, and I kind of liked that relationship building aspect of it, because like, you know, there was so many, I guess, not so many, but like there were a few times where, you know, there'll be stuff ups in the project, for example, but because of those relationships, we just look out for each other, and it just makes things so much easier.
Yeah.
And that's like that kind of feeling I really enjoy. So I thought maybe kind of exposing myself into the market a bit more and kind of building those relationships, which is what I'm good at. I thought that's what I would want for my next role.
And was it what you wanted?
No, in short.
Okay.
In short, no. I thought, I had to give it a shot regardless, right? So my experience with it is it was more salesy rather than building relationships.
Right.
And that's what I don't enjoy as much. Just because there were some points where, you know, he did, like this guy was really good at his job, for example, but one of the sales guys would smoosh up quite a bit to, you know, the head of risk or whatever, and I was just looking at that from the background, and I kind of felt sick. Like I can't see that being me.
Right.
I don't like the way I treat you would be the exact same way that I would treat my friend, my
Sure.
family, whatever it is, right? Like I'm not gonna treat you special just because you're my client. It's just not the way I work. It's more, you know, the relationships and the mutual respect that we both have for each other. So that's what turned me on.
I have a question, actually. You mentioned, like, no, in short, was the role, like, wasn't the role that you're looking for kind of thing. I'd love to know how, like, what your perception of a recruiter placing you in a role is that, like, basically you went there and it was like, oh, not what I was expecting. Mm-hmm. Like, did you harbour any form of resentment towards the recruiter, for example, or were you just like, yeah?
No, I didn't. That's a great question. No, I didn't, because, like, on paper, that's exactly what I wanted to try. So it was a no because it just didn't suit. Like, I tried it and I go, oh, you know what? Actually, it doesn't suit what I actually really wanted. And it's not because of the recruiter's fault, because that's exactly what I told him that I wanted to do.
Yeah, right.
And that's what he delivered. It just
came down to discovery in the role.
Exactly, discovery in the role. Yeah,
Got
that's
you.
right. And
Okay.
it didn't work out.
But you managed to stick it out at experience, so you must have been doing something right, even though it wasn't the right role for you, that they transferred you across somewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it was just there was just flexibility in that. Like, again, great manager. Can't complain about him at all. He was fully supportive into, like, whichever direction that I want, essentially. He really didn't care that I want to stop seeing clients and all that. So that's all good.
But you still ended up here in a relatively salesy role.
Yeah.
In fact, more than a relatively salesy role, a pretty salesy role.
Yeah.
What kind of spurred that? What made you think you can do it? Is it just these good interactions with old mate that you were like, oh, I could do his job?
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it.
That'll be easy.
Yeah, well, yeah. I learned that the hard way, didn't I? No, look, yeah, that's definitely a part of it. Just because, I think the way I view him, he's so good at his job, and I feel like he's so well connected. That's exactly what I want to be. So it's not, obviously there are quite a lot of salesy components to the job and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, I think the heart and soul of it is building relationships.
Yeah.
That's what I'm good at, and that's what that's the reason why I moved. I want to be well connected.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. I feel like if you put yourself into the I'm a salesperson, I feel like you kind of, there's negative connotations to that in my head.
That's right.
Because when you're like a fully fledged sales guy, massively generalizing here, you're someone who's like a chameleon, like you said that person might be, and tailoring themselves based on like what they kind of want to hear, whoever you're referring to. I feel like our jobs, and you do this really well in your role here, is like you're just super authentic and there's no BS, and like if something isn't going the right way, you're just going to call it out and be honest, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Whereas,
exactly.
the other way around, you probably think it would be the opposite.
It's funny, isn't it? The word salesperson gets such a
Yeah,
bad
negative.
name.
It's true.
But without sales, then no one else would be making any money.
No.
So
Exactly right.
it's kind of weird, right? I mean, there's going to be that product that sells itself, but at the end of the day, you need salespeople to get these things across the line.
Yeah.
Very weird. I've always found that strange. No?
It's kind of like, well, you can kind of, definitely. But like for us, we talk about the ingredients, right? Sales is the end transaction. Like there's just literally get the deal across the line, signed, blah, blah, blah. What we'd focus on more is the ingredients that come into sales, being relationships, like meeting people, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's a good spin we put on it, which is why I find it funny how salespeople get this like sleazy, dirty name all the time at the end of the day, because
they focus on the end though. That's the point.
but like you focus on the end to then work backwards, don't you? So you what is the outcome we want? Okay, but then let's go back to the beginning and work out the journey to get there, right?
Yeah.
There's that as well, and I just feel like everyone thinks, salespeople slimy, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why I'm defending salespeople now. Like, it's really weird that I've gone down this route, but I think it's a misunderstood skill that is extremely difficult, and that people think is easy, but is actually insanely difficult.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, like one small thing can ruin a sale. You
No,
know,
absolutely.
like especially these big software sales companies,
Absolutely.
6-month sales process,
Yeah.
and one little thing that someone does that might not even be you along the way can ruin it for you, and you get no commission, and
Absolutely.
True.
then you get blamed for low sales. Anyway, all right. So Emily, you hired a data analyst, not the traditional background of someone that we would ever normally recruit. However, something that we discussed for many years is like, it could be cool and interesting if we could get someone with a technical background into the team. So, I guess what stood out about John and what made you take a calculated risk on him, I guess?
I remember I was on Teams. I think we were in like COVID time-ish, weren't we? Like not
Kinda.
lockdown, but like medium in between.
Yeah.
Coming out the end of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, at the end
John
of it.
was in the back of his car
Yeah.
on the Zoom,
On
but
the
on his
phone.
phone.
Yeah.
I think you were on the way to pick up your kids, or you'd pull, like, I can't remember
No,
exactly.
the kids were at home and I wanted to
That's
get away
right.
from them.
You went, but honestly, the reason why I feel like I was like, hell yes, because I remember when I spoke to you afterwards, you were like, what do you reckon? I was like, yeah, 100% get him in. What can we do? Hurry up,
to be
basically.
fair, you were like that, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like in recruitment, you need like no ego, or like you can put your ego aside. I got that from you.
Yeah.
Your answers to questions weren't like what I wanted to hear. They were like genuine answers. You were just like enthusiastic. We had like a good laugh. But then also obviously it's like the stuff that you've been doing as an analyst is like gold to recruitment. Like if you can understand fully day to day both sides, like an analyst and what they do day to day technically, and then also match from the other side being like a recruiter or a client or whatever, but like what could be more perfect? Do you know what I mean? So that's basically it.
And you, what the hell were you thinking? you got 2 young kids. You got a stable job. Something you enjoy the people you work with.
Oh yeah, they're fine. Yeah.
And you're in your early 30s, and you just go, screw it. I'm gonna, being fair, take a pay cut to go backwards to go forwards.
Yeah.
Like, what were you thinking?
Yeah, great question. Well, it goes back to what I was saying before. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do what you want to do, or in this case, I guess, to kind of try if whatever I want to do is actually the one that I want to do, right? So I've been in the industry, well, you know, as I said before, for like 10 years. I've built up, you know, decent backbone, so to speak, just to, you know, so that the family don't go hungry or whatever else like that. Right. And now it's kind of time to be a little bit more selfish, essentially.
That's a nice way to think about it.
Yeah, and just kind of like I feel like sometimes it really depends on how you view it, right? Like work, it's just such a large part of your life, and to wake up every day not really wanting to do what you want to do is just miserable. And I can't stand that. So I just had to kind of get out and, you know, try to actually search, you know, the field that I actually want to get into, you know, regardless of whether I need to take a pay cut or not. That doesn't matter to me as well, just because we've already got that backbone that
I was going to add to that. You've just mentioned something there that made me think of another reason why you're great for this role and why I was like so excited
Yeah.
is you've been in the trenches before, and recruitment is literally like everyone talks champagne, razor blades, ups and downs. Like it is like that constantly, and you have to be able to navigate it and make sure they're not like this, they're like this.
Yeah.
And you've obviously got the maturity and the like corporate know-how, and like you have built up the resilience by taking the job that might not be the right job to get your foot in the door, and then like dealing with people that aren't necessarily the greatest to work with, but you still have to do it at the end of the day to build up those like skills. And that is another thing which is lacking in our market at the moment, is people, like you've seen as well, moving so quickly because they just can't be bothered. They're just like, hands off, there's more in the market, let's go to this role, see what happens. Like you need to be longer than, I don't know, 6 to 12 months in a role to get the like rewards and the benefit out of it. So you had that, which was also one thing.
So what's it been like since you started? Like what was not what you expected? What is what you expected? Yeah.
Well, definitely not as easy as I thought it would be. That's for damn sure.
So why is that?
I just didn't realize the amount of things that you guys do. Unreal. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so it really
not
it
us
really
guys,
made me...
you now too. You guys.
Well, I mean,
all
sorry,
guys. Everyone
us
guys.
Yes, everyone here. Yeah, so it really made me appreciate what becoming a recruiter is all about, really, and also, I guess, like sometimes the stigma around it as well, and you know, like why is there stigma around it, really? Like, you know, we're just trying to help people change jobs and, you know, and kind of land their dream job.
Maybe you know why there's a stigma, because you were in the industry. What do people say?
I've never really had people talk badly about
recruiters.
That's good
then.
No, yeah, like
so maybe it's just a narrative created by recruiters to make themselves feel better.
Possibly, I don't know, like, or maybe everyone in my contacts was just like, they're just very tolerable people. I don't know. But look, with regards to the role itself, there's definitely a lot going on. You know, a lot of multitasking, a lot of planning. Obviously, a lot of talking to people, a lot of calls and all that, which I do enjoy. But yeah, just. Well, what I didn't expect was, I guess, the amount of work. What I did expect was the fact that I do enjoy talking to a whole bunch of people and kind of getting their experiences across the line and actually learning a thing or two about them and all that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And what's hurt so far? You said there's like a rage burning inside you.
Yeah.
Why is there a rage burning?
Oh, just people not being honest, really. Like, again, look, you know, we've kind of mentioned it before. I didn't move into recruitment initially for the money, right? Because I took a pay cut and all that stuff. So to me, I don't care too much if I don't place you. I really don't. I just want what's best for you. You know, what you think is best, what I think is best as well. If they marry up, that's great. But for us to be able to do that, we need to be kind of open and honest with each other. Like, don't try to play me. You know, I definitely won't try to do anything towards you as well. It's just more, if you do have another opportunity on the go, that's completely fine. If you think that opportunity is better, that's, again, completely fine. I really don't care. You know, if you've got a counter offer, for example, let me know. If it is really better for you that you stay there, you know, you fully explain as to why, etc. That's fine as well. So just be completely open and honest. I really don't mind.
It's hard when you deal with so many people on a daily basis. Like, your Disney outlook on life gets smashed quite quickly, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because in most walks of life, you deal with 3, 4, 5 people a day on the regular. But in our job, obviously 30, 40 people a day or whatever it is. Not everyone's going to be nice. Not everyone's going to tell the truth, right? And you realise that the world isn't as rosy as it might be, right? In some ways, in that sense. So, but on the other side, you get to speak to some really cool and interesting people. I'm not trying to make it sound completely rubbish. So there's that as well. All right, John, really important question for you.
Yeah.
The zombie apocalypse question. And so this is where you've got 3 people with you, fictional, non-fictional.
Okay.
In a zombie apocalypse, your family's safe in a bunker, so you can't say them. Who would you bring with you?
Yeah, definitely my number one, Donnie Yen. Biggest fan.
Ip Man.
Ip Man.
Ip Man bloke. Yeah. But I knew him well before then. Love his movies.
You OG Donnie Yen fan, yeah?
Yeah, big fan. Just need to bask in his aura. So yes, please, Donnie Yen, come here.
He's going to be in John Wick 4, you know.
I was about to tell you that. because that's exactly what my next character was.
Oh, is
John
it?
Wick.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
kicks
go.
ass.
Oh, it's a great connection there, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. He's going to be the main villain in John
Cool.
Wick 4.
Nice.
Yeah, so it should be good. And then I think the last probably Statham.
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
So you're going to just kick some zombie ass out
Pretty
there?
much. Yeah, I'm just going to stand right behind him.
Yeah.
And just let them do all the work. All good.
You'd also get access to Rosie Huntington Whiteley, who's his wife, and she's beautiful.
I don't feel like you get access.
Access to it? Whoa.
I don't know. Maybe
Whoa,
she's in a
what is
bunker. Maybe she's no, not access. That is a bad way to put it. But do you know what I mean?
I'm really glad you said that, not John.
She's in a bunker, maybe. So when they all come out and you win the
Saucy.
apocalypse situation.
Which movie was she in again?
She was in Transformers,
Transformers
at one
yeah,
point.
that was it, yeah.
The third or fourth one.
Okay. Like
One of the rubbish ones.
She's a Victoria's Secret model, put it that way.
Oh, hello. Okay.
Anyways, moving on.
This got derailed pretty
It's
quickly.
got a real insight into your brain there.
What? It's nothing to do with my brain.
Well, it came from your brain.
I was just relating.
Right, okay, cool. Sure,
So you guys
sure,
might be
sure,
interested in a model,
sure.
you know?
No. Like, she's not my type.
Good to know.
No, she's not. I'm just being honest. You know?
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway,
Anyways.
we'll move on from
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah, go on.
conversation.
Yeah.
All right. So look, we'll just come to the end of the session here now,
Yeah.
John. So I guess let's talk about advice for people in data
Yeah.
who are feeling a little bit passionless. Like, what would you tell them?
Well, I guess just step back and like reevaluate. You know, sometimes you're in a field just because you've been in that field for so long, and I guess don't fall into the trap that basically says that, you know, you can't change even after 10 or 20 years being in the same field. You know, just really just think and take a step back and see what's right for you really out there. Data might not be right for you if that's what you're feeling like at the moment. Yeah, or it could just be, you know, where you're at, where the company's at, what you're doing and there. So yeah, just really nut that down.
And if someone was thinking of moving into recruitment, what kind of person, what kind of career aspirations do you think would match up, seeing as you've been through it? If someone sat there in data, passionless, thinking, I want to do something data adjacent, but not the analytics.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously having that industry experience really helps, first and foremost. But also, I think just really wanting to talk to a lot of people. I think that's it may sound really rudimentary and like basic, right? But it really is key. If you don't want to talk to people, please don't apply to be a recruiter or anything like that, because you're just not going to enjoy it. Just really, you know, have an interest in other people's experiences. And you know what basically keeps them awake at night. You know, what are their motivations and even the ways of thinking and whatnot. So yeah, there's definitely like a psychological aspect to it as well. So if you're the type of person that are keen on all of those, then I think it might be a field that's worth a try.
Nice. Yeah. And you'd hire them, eh, Emily?
Hell yeah. Clone John. Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's all my questions, John. Emily, any more from you? That's a no on an audio podcast. Cool. And John, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good. I mean, thanks for taking a crack on me. So
no worries.
Yeah, hopefully it was worth it.
It's so far been
It
very
was
worth
worth
it.
it. Vice versa.
Right, well,
Yeah.
there is our extra special episode of Keeping Up with Data. I hope you enjoyed that, a little bit of a different aspect, and we'll be back with our regular episodes very soon.
Woohoo.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.